Okay, so this presentation is about our, it's an evaluation, or we're presenting the evaluation of our retraining program for out-of-field mathematics educators in Australia, like Linda said. And it is research that is being undertaken by a team of us, but in particular myself and the doer of all things, who is Dr. Sabrina Syed, who's my postdoc, a student who's working on this project. Let me see if I can. There we go. So I'd like to acknowledge that I am presently on the lands of the Pampalong clan of the Awabakal people, and I'd like to acknowledge that I am in a land that was never ceded and was and always will be Aboriginal land. A little bit about the program that we're presenting about today. Australia, like many countries, as you know, we've seen today, it's got massive issues of teacher retention and supply, particularly in mathematics. Rural schools are particularly disadvantaged and experience greater impact from this shortage. The Australian Mathematics Science Institute estimates that about 76% of junior secondary students have at least one unqualified teacher in years 7 to 10. So they are being taught by someone who was not originally trained in mathematics. And what we're reporting on is a collaboration that we have done with the New South Wales Department of Education to increase the skills of our field teachers. So we've got a group of teachers that we'll talk about a little bit later, and we co-created a program with the New South Wales Department of Education, who's funding these students to come to our university, or well, actually they don't come because it's online, but to study the program in our university. The program has 3 streams. And essentially students go into any of these 3 streams depending on how much mathematics they've done in the past at a tertiary level. So if they've done quite a bit of maths, they only do a graduate certificate, which is only 3 courses. If done a little bit more, or they only want mathematics as an additional teaching area to teach, you know, just to not be head teacher mathematics, then they do a graduate diploma. And it looks like it's 8 courses, but it's actually only 6. And if they have no prior knowledge of mathematics, they do the full master's, which is 8 courses. You see different colors there. The orange one that you see there for in Master of Education, say, that is a general course on pedagogy, and we teach about the quality teaching model, which is something that we are kind of famous for here in Newcastle. The last one in green is a practicum. They do still have a supervised practicum with a proper, I mean, not that they're not proper teachers, but with a qualified teacher, let's say. And then all the ones in the middle are a mix of pure mathematics content and pedagogies mathematics. So they have 80% of the course is pure maths, like a normal maths course at university. You know, we teach them algebra, we teach them calculus, statistics, geometry. Each course has a focus, and then they do a certain amount of pedagogies, you know, lesson planning, unit planning, and then, you know, teaching strategies, like all these kind of things that are particular to mathematics, but they may not have because they are teaching currently history or PE or something else. This is a little bit about the program. Sabrina, do you want me to tell the whole story, or are you happy to jump in? What do you want to do?
I'll talk about the research findings, I guess.
Okay, all right. So I'll continue then talking about these. Like I said, we offer the program online. We've got different ways for also to interact with the students that are they're located in remote locations. So we do something called SimTeach, which is a simulated teaching environment with avatars. It's where students they have to teach a lesson, but instead of teaching a lesson to children, because we are so far away, we can't see them, they teach the lesson to this sort of AI looking student, it's like a class, and they then that way we can give them feedback on their teaching without having to physically go to see them. Admittedly, we have gone to see them as well, physically where we can, but some of them are very, very far away. And I had to drive, I think it was 12 or 13 hours each way, 26 hours last year to visit one of our students. So we do try sometimes we can do these virtual classrooms. And we have recorded classes, and they've got headsets, so they can have a 360 environment, so that there is different ways that we've got to engage with the students, trying to make the experience a little bit more real or more similar to what they would learn if they came to university. We've got 82% students are in rural or regional areas, and 18% are in metropolitan areas. You can see there the spread of what was their original teaching area. 35% of them were teachers of science. We have some of them that were what we call HISI here, social sciences, and then you can see the rest. 8% of them were primary school teachers that are retraining to be secondary mathematics teachers. This is a little bit of a breakdown of the people that came to the program. So we've had 2 intakes. The first one we decided in 2022. We have an intake. We had 51 people apply, and we had 41 come in. 7 have graduated. 29 will graduate at the end of the year, which leaves a couple of graduates that went part-time that will finish in the next few years. And cohort 2, which started in 2023, we interviewed 48, and 41 ended up being accepted in the program. We've graduated 4, and the rest of them will graduate at the end of next year. Originally, the program was designed to be done in a year. We found that pretty much everyone went part-time, because it's pretty much impossible to have a full-time job or near full-time job and have to study full-time. They all very quickly discovered that they needed to study part-time. That's why it's sort of dragging a little bit longer than originally intended. In terms of the research, maybe Sabrina, you want to jump in? Yeah. Brilliant.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you for providing all the details, the context of this program. And hello, everybody. I can't see everybody, but I see there are people. So in terms of this program, so one of the condition was that we will evaluate this program. Continuous evaluation will go on. That was the deed between the university and the department. And so we were thinking that how we can do the evaluation. So one of the theory we have used here is the professional identity theory. So we were trying to measure that while they are doing these mathematics courses, 80% mathematics courses and the pedagogy courses, do they identify themselves as a maths teachers? Or when they don't have the maths degree or maths teaching degree, do they identify themselves as a maths teacher? So you see, this is from the interview. Some of those statements I just put it in this slide. Beginning of the degree, so how they felt. So there are so many teachers working in mathematics that can't get permanent full-time jobs because we don't have the qualification in maths. So this is one of the reasons. So in Australia, the context is if you don't have the qualification, so you get a separate qualification or code for depending on your KLA, and it's really hard to get a full-time job without in that area if you don't have that qualification. And as we have like the scarcity in mathematics teacher, as you have already seen, so getting mathematics like permanent job as mathematics teacher is easier than some other subjects. So that was their initial beginning of the degree, the first column. So do maths teaching the rest. So they actually showed interest that I want to do maths teaching rest of my year. I don't feel confident. However, many of them said that they don't feel confident about teaching mathematics or they don't see themselves as maths teacher because the surroundings, their colleagues, the school don't see them as a maths teacher. They see them as an out-of-field teacher. That's the term we use here, like out-of-field teacher. And when they were about to complete the degree, and we have seen after the interview that how much they feel themselves or see themselves as a maths teacher. So we have seen a significant difference between the identity. So doing the program, like so they said, giving me the confidence. So they were like deep understanding, enjoyed teaching maths, and maths is feeling more comfortable. So they became more confident about their role and about their skills. We have used this scale, the HANA scale here, to understand their self-image, self-efficacy, which focus on their mathematics teaching skills, perception of maths education, and perception of teaching. So you see the differences, how it has been changing. So their self-image has been changed a lot in terms of, so blue part is a strongly agreed. So later in degree, self-image changed a lot. Even you see there is a difference between, but they're still in like agreed option. For example, in terms of self-efficacy or perception on maths teaching, they had different type of thoughts. But after completing this degree or end of the district, they have come up with, like, for example, I can give you an example. Like initially, many of our participants, they're more worried about how to manage students and how to motivate them in the classroom. They're not confident enough to help them to focus in their class. But at the end of the degree, we have seen they're not worried about classroom management anymore. They're worried about something else. They're more thinking more in depth about how we can actually increase the connectedness in the classroom. So those are some things they were worried about, no more worried about the classroom management. So they were more worried about the content level end of the program. And later, we also did some observations, face-to-face observation with using our quality teaching model. Elena already introduced you the quality teaching model. If you have any question about that, we can answer that during our question answer session. But I just want to give you some ideas that what actually found. Though we have seen they are becoming mathematics teacher in like their perception is positive in terms of becoming mathematics teacher. But when we observe them, so SimTeach, Elena introduced you. SimTeach is a virtual environment where they taught some virtual students that happened beginning of the program, and face-to-face observation we did end of the program. And you see the teaching quality is pretty similar. There was not many changes happened yet because it's just 1 year program. It was or 2 years program. So the area they were struggling most is the significance. Interestingly, literature tell us that significance is the area where maths teacher, all the maths teacher, even in service, experienced and pre-service teachers, they struggle most, especially those areas: cultural knowledge, knowledge integration, narratives, and connectedness. And we have found similar findings in SimTeach observation and face-to-face observation. So this is something we're still thinking that why is this happening? Yeah, there are some like literature, but not many literature on this area that why significance is hard for maths teacher. That's like a summary of our findings. Is there anything else, I guess? Or there are some insight? You want to talk about that, Elena?
Sorry, I forgot that I had to unmute myself. The success of retraining programs largely depends on the support and the time that participants are provided by the university, but particularly by the school system they are embedded within. So we were lucky enough to be working with incredible colleagues in the Department of Education that were supporting the students even more than we were, right? So these participants were very lucky to have two teachers that were seconded out of their substantive positions to work with them and support the students. They also had mentors that are teachers in similar sort of areas, geographical areas that they could contact with. So We consider the program to be incredibly successful. We haven't lost any participants. You know, they are getting qualified. Like this we think is brilliant, but you know, it required quite a bit of support. And if we want this to work, if we want out of field teachers to become in-field teachers, I think it's paramount that this support is provided by universities, but particularly by their employers.
Yeah.
We have worked on things to facilitate the transition, and a couple of things that we have done that we would recommend anyone who is trying to help teachers retrain is bridging courses, right? We've got a very strict mandate from our accrediting body as to what they consider a mathematics teacher should know. But there is a gap between a first-year university course in mathematics that contains calculus that assumes that the students have quite a high level of mathematics already, and someone who may have been teaching mathematics for 20 years, but only at a year 7, year 8, you know, to 13, 14-year-olds. We need to bridge that knowledge between what is required of us as an institution and what the participants actually need. So that bridging course was really important for us to develop and to do well. So the participants started our program, they were confident in their high school maths, essentially. And then the use of immersive technologies that the students can remotely access was also quite important in our trying to get the students engaged and give them a real experience of learning at a university. And you know, we would hope to continue to run this program. We are going to continue to run this program. Unfortunately, not with the support of the New South Wales Department of Education. That part of the project has finished. But yeah, just we would love to hear from other people and hear a little bit of feedback of what they thought what we're doing is, you know, in your experiences, or if you have any questions, please ask.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.